I think the recording just stopped for some reason. I don't know if it's because vibration or anything. So let me see, because I tested at home. It's supposed to be able to record like 33 minutes continuously, things like that. So, okay. Here is actually a border between city of Arlington and city of Cambridge. So as you can see here, can you see, do you see entering Cambridge? Okay, we passed that already. It's a little bit behind us. So this way we will see entering the city of Cambridge, and we go from the other side, then we will see a sign that is entering the city of Arlington. So this is one of the border point. And as you can see here, the sign also says that if we make right turn here, we will see Watertown, Boston. And as you can see here, there's a no turn on red. So this means that we cannot turn it here. So if there's no turn on red here, you cannot make a right turn. You can only you can make a turn after you need to make a right turn. So but unless it's right turn only, some of the lanes that you can either do a right turn or you can go forward. So sometimes some impatient drivers behind you, they may beep at you, honk their horns. You don't need to worry about that as long as you are sure that you are not taking, for example, right turn only, and there's no turn on red. Even it's a right turn only, right? That also probably means that you are also going to make a right turn, but you shouldn't make a right turn simply because there are people behind you honking at you. You have to make sure it's legal and it's right timing for you to go. Otherwise, for example, if the police car there, you will get a ticket. And also, it's not really we want to avoid ticket so that we don't make a right turn there when there's no turn on red and the traffic light is red. It's because there's a reason probably for them to design the traffic sign like that, and safety first. Okay, here see there's no traffic light at all, but why I stop? Because this is another thing that is different than in Taiwan. Driving in Taiwan is that those crosswalk, people can walk with priority. That means all the vehicles are supposed to stop, let them walk. Yes, at any time. Complete stop, then let them walk first. If you don't, I think the fine before was maybe $100. So, but it's also to respect pedestrians. Like for example, this bicycle. If he's on his bike, then it's different than he's walking his bike. When he's walking beside his bike, you need to treat him as a pedestrian, like a person that is walking. So they got priority to use the crosswalk. Okay. Unless that crosswalk has a traffic light, then everybody follows the traffic light. And if there's a police officer there, then you follow the person first. But if there's no traffic sign on top of the crosswalk, then people who walking on the crosswalk got the priority. So that one is very, very different than I think in Taiwan, because in Taiwan I don't really remember we have something like that. There's always a traffic light, the same as here, like always very clearly. The other thing that's very different, than the ones in Taiwan is that stop sign. So a lot of time that people from another country, for example in Taiwan, from Taiwan may not get used to stop sign. We are used to the traffic sign, no problem. And stop sign, because it's not really, there's no lighting and it's just a still sign there, so a lot of time we will not pay attention to it. So that's a habit that we need to develop if we want to be a good driver, a safe driver, a defensive driver here. We need to be careful watching the signs. I remember my brother used to tell me, oh, read the signs, because I remember while I was driving, I think that time I was in Florida, Miami. He used to study there, so when I went to visit him, I would ask, oh, where to go, where to drive, how to drive, things like that. And he always told me, read the sign. And later I realized he was right, that I should read the sign. It takes time for us to get used to read the sign as well, because it's a different language, it's a different writing system. But the more we read it, the better we get, because for example, similar format, similar patterns, and also learning new things is always good for our brain. It's kind of like brain exercise, just like as long as we are walking, it's usually it's good for us, right? So we got to use it. We need to use your muscles. We need to use our brain as well, and speaking as well. If we don't speak, we may lose the familiarity of exercising our muscles, including mouth muscles, tongues, how to use it, things like that. So yeah, so a simple thing like driving, you can actually relate to lots of scientific research or psychological theories about it, right? So for example, we actually just touch base on relatively new, but not that new, maybe 15-20 years by now since the theory was first developed. That's called neuroplasticity. I love that concept because it's about the brain cells and networks can rewire and regrow, which provide a neurological foundation of adult learning. There used to be the thought that once brain cells or neuron dies and that's it. And also old dog cannot learn new trick. It's not the case. We may learn things, new languages, new skills with longer period of time. But as long as we don't give up, as long as we hang in there, we can learn it. It is actually good to exercise our brain because it forces our brain to rewire and regrow. So probably everybody have an impression about the individual neurons. So, but the neurons works in a groups. That's why we call it networks, because they connect with each other. So each neuron is connecting with another neuron, actually more, because probably another two or even more. So then they all connect with each other and form a networking. Then the chemical electrical signals passing through those neural networks. Therefore, the brain functions, right? So if those signal communication was interrupted for some reason, right? So what would be the possible reason? For example, brain trauma. right? So you had, if we had a car accident, so drive carefully, okay? So say we have an accident for whatever reason, or elder people, they fall, their head hit the ground, or even not accident. Well, it's probably accident because, for example, in sports, right, there are some sports with bigger impact. For example, basketball, football, boxing. Those are sports that require very close physical contact, and also those fightings, those professional fighting, those cage fighting, those are very, very heavy physical activities, and is allowed to attack, for example, head, and it's whole another topic. So head trauma, right? For example, boxers are known to suffer from brain injuries, probably partially due to the sports and the impact they receiving. I think one of the famous example would be Muhammad Ali. Some say he was the greatest, or he is the greatest ever boxer. Mike Tyson at some point maybe another one, but I think people probably remember when Ali was getting older, he had Parkinson's, and some people say that may has to do with his career, professional career of being a boxer. So anyway, do protect yourself and be careful no matter which kind of sports that you do. And I would say healthy first, and health including physically and mentally. So here, right, so they are not really on top of the coursework, and they also stop already. They don't necessarily expect me to stop for them, but I think it's better for them to go. So okay, this is double yellow line. Usually this car shouldn't drive like this because you're not supposed to cross the double yellow line, but some car does. As you can see, those dotted lines you can cross over here, but not double yellow line. So if you cross over double yellow line, the police can actually get you a ticket, and if you got hit by another car, and it's probably your responsibility. Although if you have any car accident, first of all you should have your insurance, right? So here you just exchange insurance information. Never drive away, never leave the thing unless you have very, very good reasons, like I don't know, life or death emergency, things like that. But otherwise, always leave, stay on the thing, or at least exchange information before you leave. And at some point, you might want to file a police report. Just get everything on the record to kind of protect yourself. And everybody has insurance, so insurance will take care of that. No hard feelings, and you do need to cover your deduction, but that's just modern life, I think. So I think most states require insurance before you can acquire a vehicle or to drive a vehicle. So I think you can buy insurance. Let's say you don't have a car, so you don't have a car insurance, but when you rent a car, you can buy insurance at that time only for those days that you are driving a rental car. So that's fine as well. And getting insurance is whole another story that maybe if there's a chance in the future, I will share with you guys. Okay. And here we are actually back to the city of Cambridge already. and it's a Sunday afternoon. I guess it's kind of quiet. As you can see, people are still walking and biking. Some of them don't wear masks. Some of them do. I think more than half of them don't, or most of them don't, especially in outdoor, because of the current policy. I don't think you need to wear masks in outdoor. But I think in indoor that you do need to, unless you are actually eating. But if you are not eating, even in a restaurant, you are supposed to wear a mask. I think all the waiters, waitresses, and the staff in a indoor stores, in an indoor store, like doesn't matter if it's a pharmacy, grocery store, or a restaurant, all the staff members, waiters, waitresses that I saw, they all wear masks. Of course, if you eat inside where you are eating, you are not wearing masks. But all the people who are working there, they wear masks. And I personally like to wear masks because you could say it's a cultural thing. In Asia or in Taiwan, we are very used to wear a mask even without pandemic, because maybe the air quality is not that good, or we don't want to catch a cold or flu from other people, because especially in big cities, for example, Taipei is a very crowded city. It's a very crowded city, and we don't have much personal space among people, so that may be why I actually kind of like that. So I remember in the beginning of pandemic or prior pandemic, so I'm talking about March 18, 2020, if I remember correctly. That's when the city, or most of the city, started to announce like COVID-19 related policy, city shutdown, things like that, or move to remote working, remote office hours, things like that. And I remember at that time, hospitals limited visitors or no visitors. So, and I happened to be in hospital earlier that year. That's another amazing story to me, and I already shared that in one of my talks, my second live, but that talk was in English. I'm sorry, in Mandarin Chinese, because it was an invited talk for Soochow University, and they put it on YouTube already. So at some point, I probably should do an English one, so that people who speak English can understand it as well. For some people, I know that they will be interested, because it's actually about my one and the only near-death experience, and my thoughts after I survived. So obviously I survived that. That's why I can live to tell the story, and I can live to do some other things. So I'm very grateful about that particular experience as well. Okay, so here I'm almost back to the office or home office in Cambridge, Harvard Street. So this is called Prospect Street. So I think if you ever came to city of Cambridge, Central Square, you probably would actually passing or use this street. This is Prospect, and also the one in front of us, across from this street, is that we are going to make a left turn here is Broadway. So Broadway is actually very famous as well. So this is Prospect Street. We are going to make a left turn here. Our right hand side is this big park that I like very much, but now it's under renovation. So otherwise I would actually have one of my Tai Chi and choreography event here, because it would be right across from my location, but it's not, so we did it in another nearby park. So that's another story. You can probably check our Facebook to get details about that. Okay, so here we are back. So I'm going to end this should I call this vlog or this driving share? So stop sign, if there's a stop sign, you have to stop and let other cars go first as well. So here we are going to try to find a place to park. Oh, by the way, in the city of Cambridge, if you don't have a permit, it's very difficult for you to find a parking. Fortunately, we have a few parking spots in our by our property, our like private spot. So here I'm going to go to park, because tomorrow is actually street cleaning. So every first Monday and Tuesday on different sides of the street is street cleaning. So if you are not familiar with the places, the rules, and you need to be careful, because most people would get ticket or get towed even when they first move to the city or move to the location. Okay, here we are, get into our private parking spot. And I guess I'm not really a good driver compared to a lot of people, so bear with me. Let me try to do an okay job here. Okay then. Well, here you go. Thank you very much for listening to this driving share with my thought. And today is actually the last day of October 31st, 2021, Sunday. So I probably should say Happy Halloween 2021. Hope everybody be healthy and be happy, live with a balance and harmony life. Okay, thank you. Bye. Till next time.